Welcome back to the Pro Sports Podcasters on YouTube. My name is Brady. You know me as Kobe, and I got to answer this question that's come up a number of times on a number of the chat groups on the Reddit, on Discord. I've heard people panic because the NFL all-day marketplace is down. It's taken a dip. And everyone's like, what should we do? Well, it comes down to what is your strategy? And the majority of you, myself included, I would assume that your strategy is the long game, right? And by long game, I'm not talking years, although that could be what some of you are looking at. I'm talking about at least wait until the season begins, right? All of this that's been happening since the marketplace has been open is during the off season. You got to expect ups and downs in the off season, 100%, especially when you've got things going on that aren't directly related to next season, which is, of course, the historical drop. You're not collecting moments from the historical drop to accumulate the most yards during next season. I mean, these are players that are retired. None of these players are actually playing anymore. So that's going to give the market a bit of a hesitancy, right? People are going to be starting to decide, what am I going to do about this? Now, I've written an article. It's on our website, www.prosportspodcasters.com, where I talk specifically about the impact of the historical set, what it means for collectors, what kind of a bonus you may be able to extract from it, and what I'm going to do about it really going forward. What's my take on historical sets and where they fit on the all-day platform. But you can check that article out. I'm not going to go into in-depth about that right now. What I'm looking at is the current marketplace and what you should be doing about that. And this dip has been created by a couple of different things. So first of which is just random rares that had maybe gotten a little bit high in value so early on have now settled back down to a more realistic position. There are still some that are elevated and probably will come down some more, but a lot of this market dip is being created by a drop in the value of specific rares. Okay. And there are a number of commons that had taken a bit of a jump due to the news that came out just a little while back about once a player has had a moment minted as a common, it will no longer have another moment minted as a common in these upcoming sets that are Series 1. And that created a bit of a boost on the commons market because people realized, oh shit, if this player's got a particular common, that's the only one they're going to have. So I want that in my collection because it could become a bottleneck somewhere down the line when the actual season begins. So there was a bit of a boost there, and now it's come back to more of a realistic level. The commons are basically sitting where they should be sitting at this particular point, except for a few exceptions that are just superstar players. So that caused it a little bit. But what has not come down are the majority of subset commons and some of the subset rares. But the subset commons in particular are holding very well. So I'm talking about the move the chains, make the stop, he called game sets. These particular commons are not going down. If anything, they are still climbing at a somewhat slow but continuous rate. And that's because I think the majority of collectors are expecting to get some kind of return on having sets in their collection. The easiest, most economical sets to collect are the common sets. So the he called game, the move the chains, the make the stop are the ones that people are going after. And primarily, I'd say the move the chains is most likely the most popular because it does have a number of key players that most people know, with he called game being second because it's the smallest of the common sets that are available, and then make the stop because it's primarily defensive players. And a lot of collectors aren't that interested in the defensive player market because they just don't know them. They just don't recognize the names. But those particular commons are doing very well. So my advice to you is, if you see a few particular moments or players that you're after that don't fit into those particular subsets, then by all means, get them now while the market's on a bit of a dip and reap the rewards later. If you're looking to collect those particular common sets, just know that they're not complete yet, right? There's still quite a few moments left to be minted in future sets during the off season to complete those particular sets. So you're going to have a bottleneck somewhere. Okay. There are a lot of great players who have yet to be minted, and they're going to end up in some of those subsets. So don't look at what the value of that set is now and assume, that let's say half of it's already been released, that the other half's going to cost you the same. It's probably going to cost you more. The closer we get to the season, the prices are going to get higher. Eventually, people are going to look at it like, I want to complete that set. And the people selling are going to realize that's what they're after. So the prices will reflect that. So keep that in mind when you decide whether or not you're interested in collecting some of these subsets and which ones you want to go after. And then the last thing is don't get too caught up in the up and downs of the marketplace. Just don't. Because right now, what's really causing it? I mean, you're going to have some people decide to sell off to get into other things. Others who have maybe overextended themselves and just need money back. So that can happen. You're going to have these dead points of inactivity, like right now, because of the historical set release doesn't fit into anything we've collected thus far. So people are either deciding, you know what, I'm going to go with historical release, and maybe as a result of that, they decide to sell off a few things that they were originally planning on collecting and have now decided, I'm not interested anymore, right? Could be somebody was going after a couple of the rare subsets and have realized that the total cost is going to be more than they want to invest, and maybe it's better to put that money in the historical set side than look to collect some of these subsets out of the Series 1 basic sets. So it could be a number of factors. It could just be the ebb and flow of things. So don't get panicky. Just don't. There's no reason to be. You want to panic? Get into something like NBA Top Shot that's in full swing, and there's a lot of things going on that cause the market to go up and down constantly. That can create some panic. And if you're looking for short-term gains, maybe that's the market to be in, because there's a lot of up and down on NBA Top Shot that are kind of prevalated by the challenges that are happening every week. But with NFL all day, there's honestly very little going on. There's nothing going on. Just because the market dips doesn't mean there's some external factor that caused it, right? It's just a matter of people getting in and out of the platform, people trying stuff out, maybe getting bored. There's a lot of things that can play into it, but nothing concrete, right? Like I've said many, many times, you should really just be somebody holding moments until the season begins, because that's when the real values are going to be created. That's when we're going to understand better the size of the community, the size of the marketplace, and what some of these moments are going to be eventually worth once challenges become a part of the week-to-week experience. So hold on till then and just cool your jets. Don't panic. Till next time.